7 Action News at 10 starts right now.
We've dealt with some strong storms today, and there is more on the way.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Dave Rexroth is in the Weather Center. And Dave, how many more storms are we supposed to get for the rest of the holiday weekend?
Yeah, it's probably more than you want. How about that? We had a round this afternoon. This is the second round going through now, and there's probably going to be some more tomorrow afternoon and then Monday afternoon as well. So you got to plan accordingly early in the day tomorrow and on Monday, better in terms of trying to stay dry and have some fun outside. You can see the action moving through pretty hot and heavy here. Going to move into Sanilac County in just a little bit less opportunity now for stronger storms through Oakland County down to Ann Arbor. But then back here from Jackson to Adrian, that group is still quite strong and moving along as well. The dark green area here, which is up around M59 and back to the west, that is a watch for more flooding. They could have a concern here, but this is a concern in Jackson County. Flood warning now until 9:15 tomorrow morning. Exit 141, which is right in Jackson of I-94, is closed there. So the interstate is closed down in Jackson because of water over the roads. They've had 3 inches in that spot already, and it looks like they'll probably see more tonight. So in Detroit, about 1 inch, certainly heavier to the northwest and to the west of us, and that's where the heaviest rain is still going to come as we go along. The threats now for tonight. Lightning and flooding are the biggest concerns. Hail and wind not out of the questions. We had a threat earlier for a tornado possibility, but that has died down now. Look at the storms. They're more back through Chicago all the way to Iowa, and that's coming through tonight. Watch out for some water over the roads tomorrow morning.
At number 2, a man is dead after being attacked at his granddaughter's birthday party. This happened at a park in Utica.
That's right. 7 Action News reporter Bethany Moore spoke to the victim's family and friends. Bethany, do they know anything about the man's killer?
Yes, well, all they know is that person is now in custody, but family and friends are just really in shock because they say that the suspect didn't even know the man that he killed.
His whole family and grandchildren saw all that on real life here today, which was a rotten thing to do.
Michael Schrader's best friend, Christopher Kalfas, says they don't understand how this could have happened.
Mike was a very good man, very kind-hearted, he had a big family.
Michael was attending his granddaughter's first birthday at Grant Park when he noticed a man who seemed to be doing drugs. Michael went to tell him to stop and leave, and then it quickly got violent.
And the gentleman happened to turn over and pull out a knife and stab my best friend to death.
According to friends, he was stabbed multiple times. Witnesses say this park quickly became a crime scene.
They have the tape and a lot of police out here, and the man was laying on the ground with a blanket over him, and it was shocking.
This happening at a public park in the middle of the afternoon is something neighbors have never seen before.
My mom lives down the street. I've lived here for 20 years. And I didn't think anything like that could ever happen here.
The suspect is in custody, which does provide some comfort. But Christopher says what happened still hasn't hit home.
Everybody here is in shock today. We're all we're overwhelmed.
Police haven't yet released the name of that suspect or the charges that they will be facing. Reporting live, Bethany Moore, 7 Action News.
Thank you, Bethany. Waterford police now asking for your help to find a driver involved in a hit and run. It happened just after 7 last night on Meigs Avenue. Investigators say someone driving a dark-colored 4-door Saturn Aura hit a 20-year-old woman. She was rushed to the hospital where she is now in critical condition from a serious head injury. That vehicle last seen turning south on Meinrad Drive. If you recognize this vehicle, you're asked to call Waterford police, and you can remain anonymous.
Right now, Detroit police need your help reuniting a missing boy with his family. This is Muhammad Bauer. He's 14 years old and was last seen by staff at a facility he lives in on Mayfield. He suffers from schizophrenia and other mental health issues. If you see him or know where he might be, please contact Detroit police.
Police investigating a deadly accident on Detroit's east side. They say a bicyclist was hit and killed at the intersection of Mack and Mount Elliott around 2 this morning. They say the suspect was drunk and actually complained of back pain. He was taken to a nearby hospital before being taken off to jail.
A final farewell today. Leaders gathered in Washington for the National Memorial for Senator John McCain. Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush delivered eulogies. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is on Capitol Hill with the touching tribute to an American hero.
Senator John McCain's final journey from Capitol Hill to the National Cathedral included a stop at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, with Mrs. McCain laying a wreath in honor of her late husband. Then, this powerful bipartisan showing, political leaders of the past and present from both sides of the aisle sitting shoulder to shoulder celebrating the war hero's life.
I love you so.
The moving ceremony including an emotional tribute from his daughter, Megan.
When my father got sick, and I asked him what he wanted me to do with this eulogy, he said, "Show them how tough you are."
Her eulogy, heartfelt and at times critical, taking an apparent jab at President Trump.
The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
The president reportedly not invited and his name never uttered, but in every speech, an underlying reference.
John detested the abuse of power, could not abide bigots and swaggering despots.
So much of our politics can seem small and mean and petty. It's a politics that pretends to be brave and tough, but in fact is born of fear.
Former Presidents Obama and Bush both ran against McCain, but at McCain's request, the two also delivered eulogies honoring McCain for his patriotism, heroism, and humor.
After all, what better way to get a last laugh than to make George and I say nice things about him to a national audience?
Speaker after speaker, Senator McCain was remembered as an honorable man who lived an extraordinary life, devoted to his family and his country. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
At number 5, the bishop who officiated Aretha Franklin's funeral has apologized to singer Ariana Grande. Bishop Charles H. Ellis III greeted her on stage after she performed the song "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman." He's facing criticism for the way he touched her and making a joke about her name. Images floating around the internet show Bishop Ellis touching Ariana above her waist during a speech. Bishop Ellis says he didn't do any of this intentionally. He extended an apology to Ariana's fans and the Hispanic community for joking about seeing her name on the program and thinking it was a new Taco Bell menu item.
At number 6, Beaumont Hospital is planning to open up 30 urgent care centers throughout the Metro Detroit area by the end of next year. The venture is called Beaumont Urgent Care, and it's being made possible through a partnership with the Atlanta-based organization Well Street Urgent Care. Facilities will be located in high-traffic areas near high-volume emergency centers, large employers, and commercially dense areas. A handful of the centers will open late this year and early next year. The first locations will be announced within the next few weeks.
At number 7, those of you heading to the polls this November will likely see 2 big proposals on the ballot: raising the minimum wage to $12 and paid sick leave. That's only if state lawmakers decide not to vote on either of them. They'll be back in the Capitol next week from summer break. If lawmakers pass both proposals, they immediately go into effect. And if lawmakers choose to amend the laws after the midterm elections, the measures would require a 2/3 majority in both the Senate and the House. If they pass on either proposal, the voters will decide.
At number 8, law enforcement across the state are stepping up patrols Labor Day weekend. Royal Oak police say officers are on high alert for any disorderly behavior, including distracted driving, excessive speeding, and drunk driving. They'll also be on the lookout for people not wearing seat belts and drivers heading the wrong way. Michigan State Police report 10 deadly crashes across the state that resulted in 15 deaths over last year's Labor Day weekend. At number 9, Macomb County Animal Control and the state of Michigan are investigating a pet store in Shelby Township. Right now, Shaggy Dog Puppies and Supplies has signs up saying that they're closed for 10 days because of remodeling. But we're learning that may not be the case. Investigators say the store hasn't been providing veterinary care for their pets. Animal Control says they've received several complaints and the store isn't allowed to sell any pets until further notice. And rounding out the top 10, the rain didn't stop people from heading downtown to the Jazz Fest in the Detroit area. If you missed out, the Jazz Fest goes through Monday, so you still have time to enjoy. Jazz lovers were not concerned about the weather warning signs posted in downtown Detroit. That's because many, like Marianne Oshab, say attending Jazz Fest is a tradition.
We come here every year. It's our fun spot. We sit in the same place every year, listen to the jazz.
It's the largest free world-class jazz festival with 15 artists from Detroit. This is their 39th year. Ron says he's been enjoying the festival for the last 20 and wasn't going to let a little rain stop him.
I saw the weather, so decided I better get some shelter.
Once the rain cleared, everything went back to normal. Jazz lovers think this weekend will still be a big hit.
Yeah, we come every year. We look to see who's playing, see some artists that we don't know, which is kind of cool, and then see some that we hopefully can recognize.
Still to come tonight on Action News at 10, do you find it difficult to walk into Target and buy just one thing? Turns out that's by design. How Target gets you to end up leaving with a cart full.
Plus, Eastern Michigan sports fans dealt a major blow. What a judge had to say about their fight to get 4 sports back on campus.
Next, football returns to Southfield. The excitement today as Lawrence Tech takes to the field for the first time in 7 decades. How students geared up for the historic game.
Lawrence Tech University kicking off the start of their football season against Oakland University, but this was no ordinary home opener.
That's right. The team hasn't taken to the turf in more than 70 years. 7 Action News reporter Allie Hoxie spoke to the students who say they're excited to see the players in action.
Are you ready for some football? It's been 72 years since Lawrence Tech has had a football team, and it's coming back in style.
It's something I never thought would happen in my time here, I'll tell you that.
This morning, students and parents took to the parking lot at Lawrence Tech for a tailgate several years in the making, celebrating the return of an American pastime.
I think it really helps the on-campus life. You know, just gets everyone more in the spirit of things.
It's like a new experience to be able to hang out with everyone before the game, and then we're all excited to go and see what happens.
So why the long wait for a much anticipated kickoff? Lawrence Tech had a football team back when the university opened in 1932, but most of the students and staff were called to duty or other jobs during World War II. A team reformed after the war, but quickly died out. Parents of players on the team are happy to see their boys start up the tradition of football again.
They're calling them the legacy or starting the legacy, so they're very excited, all of them.
Every year, no matter if you're in high school or you're in college, you're waiting for football season to sort of come around, you know, that first contact. So I know that these guys have been working so hard over the last month to get ready for today's game.
The football team is scheduled to play 9 games this season. In Southfield, Allie Hoxie, 7 Action News.
And the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils started their season off in style. They blew out Oakland University 53-14. The Blue Devils suit up again next Saturday at Wisconsin Lutheran.
A judge has rejected a challenge to Eastern Michigan University's decision to drop 4 athletic teams. Critics say EMU violated the state's open meetings law when the school dropped wrestling, men's swimming, softball, and women's tennis. EMU argued it didn't break any laws because eliminating sports programs was an administrative decision that didn't require approval from the Board of Regents. Meanwhile, a separate federal lawsuit challenging the elimination of women's teams, that's pending.
If you're staying in town this Labor Day weekend, you can still have fun. Arts Beats and Eats is going on in downtown Royal Oak, and there's so much to do and see. Some of the new features include dance fitness classes. There's also beverage booths letting you try samples from local brewing companies. You can also check out beautiful paintings and sculptures at the art show or try samples from more than 40 restaurants right here in Metro Detroit. Not to mention live performances every hour from a number of different artists. It continues tomorrow from 11 to 11 and then Monday from 11 to 9:30. You can also check out Hamtramck's Labor Day Festival on the main street of Joseph Campo. There's rides, plenty of food, alcohol, and music. You can check out the yacht race competition they hold every year. It involves push carts that look like canoes on wheels racing down Joseph Campo. There's also the Polish Day Parade. Admission is free. The event is from noon to 10 p.m. and runs until Monday.
Food and fun. Well, we've all been there before. Walk into Target stores, you pick up one thing, but instead you end up leaving with a cart full. Turns out this is no accident. Target strategically arranges and decorates stores to make you spend more on those discounted items. Some things are obvious, like clearance items near the register, similar items near one another. Psychologists say the pricing is even a strategy. You'll buy something that's $9.99 more than you'd buy something listed at $10 flat. Doing that also means you're less likely to price check other items around the store. All those bright colors are on purpose too. They make us happy, and they say happy people spend more money. But Target is adding a separate entrance for people who just need to pick up an order.
Well, a new study finds more kids are being diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Researchers say more than 10% of American kids were diagnosed with ADHD between 2015 and 2016. That's up from about 6% between 1997 and 1998. Minority groups saw the most increases. The rate is still higher for boys, but for girls, it's doubled during the past 20 years. The U.S. has significantly more instances of ADHD than other developed countries.
We're tracking a new tropical storm stirring along the eastern Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center says Florence right now is packing 40-mile-per-hour winds, but it could get even stronger in the next several days. Right now, it's not expected to have any impact over the holiday weekend, but this is the time of year for strong storms that could very well hit the U.S. Meanwhile, we dealt with some storms earlier today, but nothing as bad as what they got in Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. Police say flash flooding severely damaged roads. You can see it right there. People living in that area say they are used to the extreme weather, but this is the first time they can remember actually being in danger.
All right, we're taking a look at the weather. Can we expect any rain?
Yeah, a lot of rain. We've had round 1 this afternoon. Round 2 is coming through right now. I think round 3 is tonight, and maybe we do 4 and 5 over the holiday weekend.
No.
I know. So it's not the greatest news if you're trying to plan picnics, that kind of thing. Early is going to be better than later, both tomorrow and again on Monday, Labor Day itself. So far today, 87 the high, 79 is average. So very hot and steamy again. 98's the record back in 1953. Look at that number, 5,800, 57 of it, almost all of it came with the first batch of storms that went through this afternoon. Here's a quick look at totals, about an inch downtown Detroit, but you can see the numbers out here to the west, especially directly to the west out 94, a lot more. In Jackson County, in Jackson though, exit 141, that's I-94 is closed there because of the 2 to 3 inches of rain. They could see more tonight. There's a flood warning for the whole county now because of all the heavy rain until 9:15 tomorrow morning. This much bigger area west of us, western 2/3 or so of lower Michigan, is a flood watch until 8 o'clock because there is more on the way. You can see more storms coming right down 94 now. It's about to get to Kalamazoo, then it's Battle Creek, and then it's Marshall, and then it's back to Jackson. So heavy rain expected, and some of that could be an issue for us as well overnight. This goes all the way back through Chicago, all the way back through Iowa to Omaha, down into central Kansas. This is a feed of moisture that's going to be pretty persistent and hang around very near us for tonight, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even till Thursday as well. So your rain gauges will be filling up and you can turn the sprinklers off for a little while. All right, southwest wind at 8 miles an hour now. Humidity still 82%, still steamy outside. 77 degrees, 30.05 on the pressure right now. Here are the other numbers. 70 the coolest in Port Huron, 78 the warmest in Troy right now. The whole point is it's warm, it's muggy, it's not going to change much tonight. So our low is going to be 71 in Detroit. There might be some spots in the upper 60s, but you should expect more storms. They may not be in every single spot, but there'll be a line of storms. Right now it's coming down 94 again, and that'll bring heavy rain, maybe some flood potential even here in the metro, even though we don't have a flood watch just yet. But the reason why we don't is because we didn't get the heaviest rains that were off to our west earlier. South to southwest wind at 5, that's not going to make you feel good if you're too good if you're hot and sticky outside. 89 tomorrow, it'll feel like 91 or 92 or 93. Storm chances early in the morning. Best opportunity probably before 9, just be some leftovers from tonight. Much of the day is dry, but after 3 o'clock, there could be some more showers and storms as well. On Monday, it's still the same temperature, 89, feels like the low 90s, but I think Monday the storms could start as early as 1 p.m. So again, both days, so the remaining holiday days here, early is better than later in terms of picnics and plans outside, that kind of thing. And notice the heat stays up, 90 Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rain chances, again, all the way through Thursday or Friday. So that pattern I showed you coming from Iowa and Kansas and Chicago, going to be around for quite a while.
Still feeling the heat. Thank you, Dave.
You bet.
Coming up, an important safety alert for parents. New rules for car seats, changing what you originally may have thought. What experts say will help keep your child safe.
Next, the cost of child care really adds up, making it very difficult to save up. We break down ways you can save some money. For all you parents out there, you already know it. Childcare can be outrageously expensive.
And it can make it tough to save for other things. So reporter Annie Taylor shows us a few ways you could save money.
Good morning. Changing diapers, fixing breakfast, and putting shoes on is all a part of Yvette Schilling's morning routine to get the kids ready for daycare.
Reality hits when you actually become a parent and you're working extra hard and you're working full time, and so is your husband.
It's a challenge to pay for childcare because of how expensive it can be.
It's something that you really have to be mindful about, and you really have to know how to budget well to make that work. It's a lot of money.
On average, parents will pay nearly $400 a week for 2 kids in childcare. Childcare.com says that's more than $20,000 a year. Figuring out how to pay for daycare has been a struggle.
We don't have any family around, so that becomes a little bit of a challenge.
Hiring a nanny, Yvette says, would have cost her almost triple what she's paying for daycare.
Is it worth me working full time so we can pay $20,000, or should I just stay home and watch the kids myself? Good job. Okay, you stay put while I pack your sister.
So many parents have a hard time figuring out ways to save money on childcare. According to Care.com, one option is to sign up for a dependent care account through your employer. You can set aside up to $5,000 tax-free pay for childcare. If your employer doesn't offer a flexible spending account, take advantage of the child care tax credit. Each family can itemize child care expenses up to $6,000 a year and apply a tax credit to it. Or, to offset costs, nanny sharing is becoming popular. It's where 2 families share a nanny and split the cost.
I'll sell the clothes off my back to do what I need to do as a parent to make sure our kids are safe.
Both options take a little bit of time, but like most parents, Yvette says they would do anything for their kids.
So, yes, $20,000, big deal, but in the long run, we do what we have to do.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
For those of you who like doing social media challenges, here's one that could be right up your alley. It's the first ever Scroll-Free September campaign. It requires giving up social media for a month.
Research shows social media may be linked to increased feelings of depression, anxiety, lack of sleep, and body image issues. Experts say giving up social media could likely curb these negative mental health issues.
And still ahead in our next half hour, a new restaurant report card. We stop by a popular college town and we'll let you know which places did not make the grade.
But coming up next, the president not invited to Senator John McCain's funeral. How he made his presence felt while spending the day at the golf course.
Taking action for you. You're watching 7 Action News at 10.
It was a solemn day in our nation's capital.
As many in Washington gathered in a spirit of bipartisanship to pay respects to the late Senator John McCain, President Trump, who was not invited, played golf nearby and tweeted.
ABC's Maggie Rulli has the very latest.
President Trump hit the golf course at his private club in Virginia after a busy morning on Twitter, going after a few regular targets. Ripping apart NAFTA is one of the worst trade deals ever made, and saying there is no political necessity to keep Canada in the new NAFTA deal. Targeting the media as corrupt. Bringing up the Clinton campaign and what he calls the fake dossier. Quoting others who say the Department of Justice and the FBI are completely out of touch. As the president was tweeting, just a few miles away, the late Senator John McCain was being honored, surrounded by 3 former presidents and high-powered politicians on both sides of the aisle. The president reportedly not invited, and while no one spoke his name, McCain's own daughter made it clear he was not far from everyone's mind.
The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
A convicted former Trump campaign advisor may be giving new insights into Russia's alleged election hacking in the 2016 presidential election. George Papadopoulos filed court documents yesterday. He says when President Trump was running for office, Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions backed a proposal to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This would contradict the testimony Sessions gave under oath last year. Papadopoulos pleaded guilty in October for lying to the FBI about his Russia contacts. He's expected to be sentenced next week. And the first lawsuit linked to last weekend's deadly shooting at a gaming tournament in Florida has been filed. The suit was filed by gamer Jacob Middich, who was injured in the shooting. His attorneys say the Jacksonville landing wasn't as safe as it should have been. The suit also says there wasn't enough security for the event. Middich is asking for a jury trial and unspecified damages. 2 people were killed in the shooting and 11 others injured before the gunman took his own life.
Remember this? The baby Trump blimp was flown over London during the president's visit to the UK back in June. Well, now London's mayor is getting similar treatment. A giant blimp of London Mayor Sadiq Khan hovered today in a crowd-funded protest against his record on tackling violent crime in the UK capital. It depicts the mayor laying down in a small yellow bikini. Organizers say the event is their way of fighting for free speech in their country.
A mother in Detroit who lost her daughter to a serious infection is encouraging students to get vaccinated. Alicia Stillman's 19-year-old daughter, Emily, died of bacterial meningitis back in 2013. Bacterial meningitis is when the membranes that surround your brain and spinal cord get inflamed, and usually that causes swelling. The meningitis vaccine hadn't been approved in the U.S. until 2014. Her mother started the Emily Stillman Foundation in 2015 to raise awareness.
Experts are changing up the guidelines when it comes to child car seats. The American Academy of Pediatrics now says children should stay in rear-facing car seats until they hit the height or weight limit for the seat. For most manufacturers, that's 40 pounds. It changes the previous rule saying kids should ride in a rear-facing position until age 2. Using a car seat correctly reduces the risk of death or injury by more than 70%.
All right, if you're looking to start a small business, there are some very good places right here in Metro Detroit. Verizon Business ranked the best cities in the country for small businesses, and 2 cities made the top 10. Southfield was ranked number 4, Rochester Hills 8th. Factors included population, education, travel time to work, and more.
Finding the right spot for lunch or dinner can be tough. That's why we're on a mission to help you identify the best restaurants in Metro Detroit.
And if you love to eat like we both do, then you pay attention to this. But unfortunately, not everyone earns a perfect grade. Our Andrea Isom shows us where she found a number of violations in a popular college town.
Welcome to Ypsilanti, the home of Eastern Michigan University. And you cannot miss its much talked about water tower either. This progressive city has a host of things to explore. Food is most certainly one of them. This is Land City Hand-Pulled Noodles, where you are about to witness some remarkable noodle magic, my friends.
You have to use scissors?
Yes. Hand-pulled noodles. It's a long-time traditional dish all the way from Land City, China. And he is the noodle master. Watch in awe as he massages, kneads, stretches the dough, and then pulls. Now, that's worth a round of applause, but its last restaurant health inspection? Not so much. 10 priority violations, like no soap at every wash sink, food not properly cooled or stored, dates not marked on potentially hazardous edible items.
And why did that happen?
Why that happened? Because this new...
This spot is just shy of 3 months old, and they are much busier than expected.
As time to go by, we'll do better, and then we have everything organized in the kitchen.
You promised me that there's soap.
Oh, yeah, oh, yes.
Promise.
Oh, yes.
Like,
all the time.
Like cross your heart, pinky. Pinky swear?
Yeah.
And according to the health department, this place is now in complete compliance. So how do you say good work?
Hin hao.
谢谢.
If your taste buds are not tempted yet, you just wait. China Chef is best known for its traditional fan faves. But its last health inspection? A bit more complicated. 5 priority violations, such as employees not washing their hands long enough or drying them properly either. Raw food found in grocery or takeout bags. So, dun dun dun, I went to chat with someone in charge.
She's not here.
So, the owner has my number. Let's see if she calls. Well, we never connected, but according to the health department, China Chef is now in compliance. It's the Golden Arches. It's Mickey D's. 5 priority violations on its last health inspection. Raw bacon stored next to ready-to-eat food. Soiled utensils in the grill area. When I walked into 5550 West Michigan Ave to find out what the heck happened, I was told by a manager, no comment. However, I did receive this statement later, which reads in part, we appreciate the partnership with the local health department. We have addressed all the situations raised. We work hard every day to be a better McDonald's for our customers and serve them quality, delicious food and beverages at a great value. In Ypsilanti, I'm Andrea Isom, 7 Action News.
Still to come, there wasn't much that could stop the Oklahoma Sooners today. How the defense got a little assistance from the man in stripes. Plus, do you have a baby on the way? KFC wants to help you pay for their tuition. But there's a catch. Coming up next. Get this, fast food restaurant KFC wants you to name your new baby after the Colonel. I kid you not. So much so, it'll help pay for their college tuition. If you have your child Sunday, September 9th, and name him or her Harlan, you could win $11,000 towards their college fund. KFC says Harlan isn't a very popular name and it wants to change that. The restaurant says the name means meadow of hares and adds that old man names are cool again.